think this is Harry's first pole of the season as well. So what a good qualifying from Harry, and for the front four, should I say? That's really good from all four of them, especially Jamie and Harry. I bet you didn't expect Harry or Jamie to be on the front row.
I really didn't expect it, to be honest. I mean, we've seen a lot of Charlie getting on provisional pole, but we haven't seen Harry on provisional pole. We haven't seen Jamie in that second place either. But I guess that wet sort of track coming in and supporting those guys a lot. But we are lining the grid back up now. Everyone getting back up to their places. So we shall let Rivik take it away from here.
Thank you very much. As we say, we had Bradley being disqualified, so he'll be on cold tyres. We'll see how that pans out for him. But let's see. Should be an exciting race. And they're all lined up now. And it's lights out and away we go, I think. It's lights out and away we go now.
It is indeed. And as Harry gets a really good start.
I mean, just look at that. I don't think the top four have changed too much. But here going to turn one, Jamie goes in for P1 and he's got it. He's got the overtake done. And I think Harry's dropped position. He's under attack by Passion Fruit as well. Jamie's managed to hold it, but can Harry come back? We've had a yellow flag in sector 1 already. A load of overtake going down at the bottom of the pack further along. Fernando Alonso has made the overtake on Yuki Tsunoda. But the top four as it stands is Jamie, Harry, Passion Fruit and Cal, and you can see the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton tussling and bustling with Guan Yu Zhou as well. And another yellow flag in Sector 1. Don't know what's going on there. It seems to be a McLaren and a Ferrari.
Bradley just stands still on the track and he's looking all over the place. Has he got damage? I mean, I saw Carl at the very bottom as well. So Carl clearly didn't have a good start and must have tussled with Bradley. But may I say, what a move from Jamie down the inside into turn 1. And it was super clean move as well. The fact that he made no contact straight down the inside of Harry. And in the past, when we've seen these two race, these two normally have a bit of, shall I say, not a good time as they sometimes collide. But wow, Jamie leading the Grand Prix. Harry following with Charlie following behind Harry. So obviously the only two of them have switched positions. Obviously, Charlie stayed in P3 and Harry switching with Jamie. So, what an interesting start.
And can we just appreciate, of course, we are into lap 2 already of the Hungarian Grand Prix, but what a close championship we do have. This is basically a 6-way championship fight right now, and I know you guys can't see it right now, but what you have is Charlie at the top, and I believe you have Charlie, Preston, Harry, Carl, Jamie and George all going at it for the title. Will we see any of those guys drop off or not? What's happened there?
I do not have a clue.
Apparently Carl overtook someone, and apparently he whacked him from behind. I'm not sure who he's talking about, but something's happened which has meant that Carl was left, but his AI is still in, so he still gets the points, I guess. But do we count that or not? What do we do about that?
I'd say let it race and see where it ends up, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
As the DRS is enabled this lap, Harry will have no effect of this because he is currently 1.4 seconds behind, but the man behind Harry, Charlie, the championship leader, is close enough to use DRS when it is available to him. So the question is, obviously this track isn't made for overtaking, and the only main overtaking slots you'll get is on the main pit straight and then leading after turns 1 going into 2 and 3.
I mean, maybe the fact that the DRS train, if you will, of cars starting from Harry is going to really benefit Jamie. Maybe he's going to make the most out of it. You can see he's already pulled 2.2 seconds away within 3 laps. And if they do end up fighting, then it's going to give Jamie a bigger chance to pull away even more.
Exactly. the fact that Jamie's holding his water right now and still currently in P1 is quite amazing, actually. Your old teammate Rick Frick leading this Grand Prix, and it's quite amazing. Obviously, Charlie's getting held up by Harry, so I'm sure that if he can't pass him soon with this DRS assistance, then I'm sure that it will start to live a bit more rent-free in Charlie's head, because he'll obviously want to try and challenge for the leader of the race or get as high as possible in this race, which will probably be P2. But currently opening up DRS, he has still trying to catch Harry, and Harry just managing to stay in front and just using probably always trying to using up in his ERS to hold Charlie behind. But as Charlie looks even faster through this section, will Charlie look to make a move, or try make Harry to make a mistake or something like that? I don't know yet.
I mean, it looks to me like he's running a higher downforce setup than perhaps Harry is. I think Harry's gone with my option of the pointier setup, because you can see he's closing in on sector 2 so much. I mean, look how close he is now. He must have a chance soon. Pressuring him into a mistake, most definitely. And when they go over to the back straight, is he going for it? He might have just had a bit of a sneak peek. But when they go to the back straight, I think he might have to have a go. Look at how close he is behind, how closely he's able to follow behind.
Charlie spun it. He's gone to the grass. He lost the rear end a bit, and this is going to give Callum the advantage to maybe take him on the straight. Couldn't speak there for a second, but looked there for a second, but he had a snap of oversteer and then just lost the rear end. So now Charlie will be a little bit annoyed that he made that mistake that he probably shouldn't have, as Callum looks to go down the inside. He has a little look there for a second, but I'm not going to do it here. Obviously, Charlie has no DRS, so it will give Callum the upper hand as well, because he looks to be running a little bit more higher down. Not higher, a bit more straight line speed setup to give out a good old advantage on the straight. But there's a yellow sector 1. I do not know why.
I will just say very unfortunate news. I don't know if this will stand or not. I will have to talk to him after race and stuff and see what happens, but it does look like, due to what has happened today, apparently Carl got hit twice, so unfortunately he looks like he has unfortunately left the league today. A very unfortunate loss as the Season 2 World Drivers Champion and Season 2 Constructors Champion, but we hope we wish him good in the future, and maybe he'll join us again in the future. But a very unlucky loss for us and the league today.
Yeah, it's not quite said so now, because he seemed all pumped up that he was still in the championship fight, and then a couple issues with a couple people, but it seems that things just seems to knock him down, and that's the problem. I mean, people can change their mood from one to another, but they need to stay composed, and just if you get something like that gets you, then it's obviously just going to affect you throughout the thing. But obviously not good news for DFL Championship. And as I think this is Bradley who's spun out, and I think he looks to be retiring maybe, as he's on the side of the track. I don't know what's been going on with him. He looks to have been having some issues the whole race as well, as looks like he's getting lapped by the whole grid. So not quite sure what's going on there with Bradley. He's normally a good racer, and on the midfield here, so he's normally a good little racer during the race. But Jamie lead just walking away with this lead right now, as obviously the man who made a mistake on this road corner right now, Charlie, is back up to Harry, and is now fighting Harry again.
Yeah, constant yellow sector flags. It must be some connectivity issues from Bradley. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But as you see on your screen here, Charlie's ever so close to Harry's, thinking about going around the outside, I think. Is he? He is. He's already ahead, and he's made the overtake, and he's made it look easy. He's probably running more aero than Harry is. Or I'm not sure at this point. He's just carrying a lot of straight line speed. I thought he had more downforce, but maybe he's just taking the corners better. But he's made that overtake complete. He's been stuck on him for a while as well. Little hurdle when he had that snap of oversteer, but he's done it now, and he's now after Jamie, who is 3 seconds clear. And so we'll see what Charlie can do.
Yeah, obviously, Charlie making that move on Harry is very, very important for him and the championship as it stands. Just trying to look who holds the fastest lap. I'm not entirely sure who you... Oh, here we go. Charlie holds the fastest lap with a 1:21.222. So Jamie just a little bit not as fast as Charlie. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, can't speak today. But yeah, not as fast as Charlie, but you know, there ain't much difference between those two in pace. But obviously, as Charlie starts to close down Jamie, Charlie sets another fastest lap, and I think that's a 3 tenths quicker than his original fastest lap. So yeah.
Can we just? I'm very sorry to interrupt you, but can we just appreciate? Yes, you have Jamie, Charlie, Harry, and Callum all the way up at the top, but we do have Bailey up in P6. And I know that's not up there, but he has got up. And he's overtaken some AIs, and he's obviously entering a battle with Valtteri Bottas. Obviously, Bailey went a bit wide. I can't speak either. Bailey went a bit wide now. Bottas attacking Bailey, but I'm sure Bailey will come back and keep that position, and he does very nicely. What does Bailey have to do to get back up there?
I think he needs to maybe have some better exits, maybe just start to focus on and push away from these guys, and maybe try push around, let those two cars behind him fight away so he can catch up to Latifi, and then maybe get past Latifi and then just start trying to catch up the rest of the grid. Obviously the grid's quite spread out at the moment, so you know. And he makes a slight bit of contact with I think that's what's his name? Oh, and as Bailey goes into the side of Carl's AI, he's crashed out and now reversing, and now is into 18th place in this race.
A very unlucky time for Bailey indeed. But what's your opinion on that whole situation, Ritvik?
I mean, it's just unfortunate, isn't it? It's really unlucky. You're under a lot of pressure anyway when you're back there and the rest of your drivers are up at the top challenging for the race win or for the podium. You're under a lot of pressure by yourself just to say, I need to overtake all these people and join the running. And when you've got Carl's AI and whatnot, you know, challenging side by side racing on a track like this can be quite difficult as well. So I do feel for him. But I mean, we can only look ahead, and ahead here is Charlie attacking on Jamie, and you can see he's getting so close. He's closed in just a few laps, and covered so much time. We have to give props where it's due. I mean, he's closed a 3-second gap down into 1.2 seconds within what, 2-3 laps, something like that.
Yeah, it is genuinely crazy how much Jamie is, Charlie is pushing to Jamie, but Jamie is not giving up this fight. He will not give up that P1 position. He wants this win. He wants his first win since season 1 Brazil. It will be his second win ever. Do you think Jamie can keep this for the win, or do you think Charlie will push Jamie and maybe bring Harry and Callum into it as well? What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, it does look like Charlie is lapping a lot faster than Jamie is right now. I wonder if it might be just because he's using a lot of his tyre wear to try and catch the gap, or whether Jamie's being conservative with his tyre wear, or maybe it's just the fact that Charlie is just lapping a lot quicker than Jamie is normally. But I do think he'll get the overtake on Jamie done pretty soon within the next few laps. And if Jamie wants to come back, I think the first round of pit stops, or the only round of pit stops potentially, is where he should strategize to try and potentially overcut him. But we'll see what happens. I do think he's going to get the overtake on Jamie in the next few laps.
Yeah, you talk about pit stops. What do you think is going to be the best strategy for this? A 1-stop or a 2-stop, maybe?
For me, I would probably go on a 1-stopper. I'd probably I'd probably try to stay on these mediums till maybe around lap 15 and hit to a fresh set of hards and long those out at the end of the race. I think that would be the best strategy. If you're going for a very hyper-aggressive strategy, then you could obviously switch to another set of mediums and then a set of fresh softs if you back yourself to overtake. But on a track like this where it could be potentially more difficult to overtake, if this was me in their position, I would 100% go for the medium to hard strategy.
Yeah, to be fair, I could agree with you there. I mean, it's just whether Jamie kind of wants to separate that time very quickly with some soft, or whether he think it'll be best to long it out. Try and beat Charlie if Charlie goes for that two-stopper or not. Who knows? I think it all depends on what Charlie does. Is what Jamie will do, or maybe the other round if Jamie wants to pit first. Who knows? We'll have to see what happens between them two. But I mean, you have Harry and Callum a bit more separated. Is there any way they can come into it, do you think?
I think Harry and Callum are sort of having a nice little lonely race. Again, pit stops are a big key factor here as to determining whether they're back in it. You never know what could happen with the strategy for Jamie and Charlie. Like, let's say they do both go onto the one-stop hard strategy and they struggle to keep heat into the hards. Oh, as we say that, Charlie's overtaken Jamie and taken the lead of the race.
I will be honest, I missed that, but I'm glad you mentioned it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have noticed it.
No, he's got the job done. He's got the job done. He looked looming, and he got it done. And I think he will look to stay ahead, build up a bit of a gap until maybe lap 15, 16, and then pit onto hards. But yeah, as I say, if the front two do both go onto hards, then who knows? Maybe Callum or one of Callum or Harry will go to the medium soft strategy and try to be a bit more hyper aggressive, and that way maybe that will close down some time and put them into contention for P1 or 2.
Yeah. Oh, Peter, go ahead. You're back.
Yeah, sorry, I had to do something there real quick, but I've just come back to see that Charlie's taken the lead. So obviously, when did he make the move then?
Just now.
Oh, okay. So I haven't just missed the action then. So maybe as Jamie looks to try overtake and take back the lead from Charlie again, is it possible? Has Jamie got the pace compared to the championship leader right now? Who will know until the end of it straight and the next one?
It will definitely be a very interesting one match for sure, between the battle between P1 and P2, and then P3 and P4 if those two can come together. But obviously, he may be leaving this league. Who knows? We'll have to see what happens. But let's say for a moment he doesn't. What's happening? What could Carl do to get back into points? I know it's not him, but still, he is technically driving.
Yeah, well, obviously, he just needs to not let the issues like that get to him, because otherwise you're just gonna have. You can't be a champion after you've had an incident during the race. You have to pick yourself back up and dust yourself off and continue on with it, because if you let that get you, in my opinion, you're not worthy of being a world champion. I mean, I don't know what it was like last year during season 2, but obviously to be a champion, in my opinion, we saw with Charlie, we saw in Britain that he had his collision with Harry, and they both had a collision, but obviously they didn't have it come off as bad. But obviously, when Charlie has a collision or has an incident, you don't see him give up straight away and be like, oh my god, why has this happened? You always see him come back fighting, because you have to be in it to win it, in my opinion. And quite frankly, if you're leaving after every time incidents happen, then you don't deserve to be a world champion.
Fair enough. Go ahead, Ritvic, sorry.
No, I'd back that. I think you need to be able to get up from a situation, and if you have an incident, you pick yourself up, and we keep moving. Especially because it was an early incident. I mean, there's another 25 laps to go in the race. Why not just pick yourself up, see what happens? You never know what's going to happen in these races. Someone could just as easily spin out and cause a safety car, and that bunches the lot right back up. Few pit stops. I mean, you're right back in it, and we see this in races all the time. But you just need to have that perseverance to pick yourself back up and keep going.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, Carl as a world champion, but there's the quote I inspired by one of my heroes, is that by losing, no, by winning you learn one thing, but by losing you learn a lot more, because it teaches you how to better yourself and not make that mistake, and how to better yourself in situations when you don't always win. So, in my opinion, I still think that when you're not winning, you need to be able to forget that, right, the lead is out. I won't be contending for a podium. I won't be contending for the win. I just need to buckle myself down and get on with it and just get into the points, because if you're not willing to do that and all your eyes are set on is a podium, you're not going to get very far. And you need to be able to think what's realistic and what's not realistic, should I say. Like, you have to think that you have to be able to think that sometimes you're not always going to be winning. You're not always going to be at the top step at the podium. You're not always going to be fighting with everyone at the front like you probably would think that and you can, but it's not happening. So not every day, not every weekend is going to go your way. You have to think of that as well, obviously.
Yeah, I agree. 100% agree. And in a sport where literally anything can happen, just that small bit of belief can go so far. I mean, take a look at the real life example. Look at Lewis Hamilton. Like, he's constantly proving that he's the best of all time, or one of the best of all time. Constantly.
Can I just say something about, like, you mentioned Lewis Hamilton, obviously, but obviously in Spain he had his incidents with Kevin Magnussen. I think he had some damage in Spain, but then he went from being last and it's like, okay, guys, I want to save the engine, to coming back to being in like the top 5 in that end of the race, because when you think that, like, they think you can get points, sometimes you're like, oh, well, if you think I can get points, then I'm just going to push.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, yeah, at the beginning of that race when he had the incident, he was like, guys, I think we should save the engine. But that's where he had his team to say, look, give it a go. We're still aiming for top 5, whatever it was that they aimed for. And then he was like, you know what, I have that small bit of belief to try and see where I can come back. And he did. The Merc picked up pace. He tossed over fastest lap after fastest lap, and he contested for the win. And I think the same situation applies here. But if you don't, like, pick yourself up and want the win, it's not going to come to you.
Yeah, and as we get our first pit stops of the session, Charlie is pitting. But one thing that surprised me is that Jamie didn't pit, because you'd think if you're fighting for the lead, you'd think you'd want to pit the same time as the leader. But maybe Jamie thinks that he has the overcut in hand, and he thinks he has the pace to do the overcut on Charlie. So maybe the fact that if Charlie catches Harry, sorry. I've probably been saying Charlie the whole time. I mean, Jamie probably thinks he can do the overcut. My bad. I feel that if that was me right there in Jamie's shoes, I think I would have pitted the same exact time as Charlie, because I'd want to have the best opportunity to probably get Charlie at the right time. Just because when Jamie goes to pit, he's going to have cold tyres, and by the time that Charlie gets to him, he's going to have somewhat semi-warm tyres, and he's going to be a lot quicker than those hards. I think he's on the hard, if I'm correct. He is on the hard, so he has opted for the one stop. So I'm assuming that every driver on the grid has probably going for a one stop this race. So and Jamie's staying out, so that's a surprise. So Jamie thinks he can really get this overcut done. So the question is, do you reckon he can do this overcut on Charlie, or do you think that he should have pitted when he had the chance to?
Well, I think, from my point of view, he's done exactly what he needs to do. I think in the case of those two, where they're both battling and tussling and bustling for P1, it's a case of the person behind, i.e. Jamie, does whatever Passion Fruit doesn't. So if he pitted, he would stay out. If he stayed out, he box. And I think I think he's done the right thing. But it's a case of now pushing as hard as he possibly can on those mediums that are now worn a fair bit, and pushing as hard as he can and getting that gap big enough to box and come out into a position where he might be able to retake the lead of the race.
Yeah. Maybe he.
I'm very sorry to interrupt. I do have another sad announcement to make. Due to Bailey having enough with driving on controller, he is getting a wheel at Christmas. So, but unfortunately, due to it being 2 months away now, he has taken the decision to become a reserve driver. This season, he will be back at Christmas. He will still be a commentator whenever we need him. He'll help behind the scenes, but he will be a commentator whenever we need him to be or anything like that. But he will appear as a reserve driver after Christmas with a wheel. And in season 4, yes, we're talking about season 4 already, he will be back. He has decided that already. He'll be back with a wheel, but he's had enough of racing on controller, which is very understandable.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that driving a controller, yeah, it is hard, but you got people in this session who are driving a controller, and I think Charlie drives on controller, doesn't he?
No, he drives on wheel, I think.
No, I'm pretty sure that they said that he drives on a controller. I think Preston does as well. He drives on the controller as well. So, examples, as long as you play the game long enough, I mean, I can understand Bailey's being annoyed that, I can understand, because with a wheel you can do so much more, and you can actually control your trolling, your turning to a bit more of an extent. Well, I say a bit more to extent. It's a lot better to drive on a wheel, but it's a controller. Personal experience here, right, myself. But yeah, I feel like a wheel is definitely a lot better. But yeah,
it is very unfortunate what's happened today with Carl leaving and Bailey becoming a reserve, but we do carry on. And now I'm actually focused on this race because I no longer.
Here? Hello.
Hello. Because
sorry, my mic was muted. If I can just bring back the point of Charlie and Jamie, he's come out 6 seconds behind, so it's not quite worked to his plan. But if again his tyres are newer than Passion Fruits are, and depending on how he nurses them, they could wear out a lot quicker than Jamie's. And so I think that's what he's going to have to rely on, and he's just going to have to race the lonely race, basically. Make sure he doesn't lose too much time to Harry and risk being dropped to third, but slowly kind of nurse those tyres into a window where he can start making up time to Passion Fruit.
I will just say I was speaking a minute ago, but I was on mute on Discord and I didn't realise. So when Peter said hello, anybody there, I was actually talking. So that's worked great. But welcome to DFL videos. Am I right? But as I was saying, I am fully focused on this race now, as you probably could tell throughout the race. When I wasn't switching cars as the guys were talking, I was talking to Carl and Bailey. I'm fully focused, and may I just say, being fully focused now, can you guys just fill me in on what's happened with Callum?
Yeah, I was about to ask you.
Don't butt heads, guys. Come on.
Yeah, sorry. You go.
Yeah, I was just about to ask the exact same thing. I was like, I was gonna wait until you finish your thing and then just ask what happened to Cal, because he just dropped 15th.
Yeah, I actually did. He spun. He spun like maybe before lap 20. I think it was like around lap 15 or something like that. I was going to mention it, but we was talking as well. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
He's been down there for quite a while.
So, very unfortunate thing to happen to Callum. Maybe he can come back up, maybe he won't, but who knows. But right now, you have Charlie leading this race with a 6-second gap on Jamie. You have Jamie and P2 with a 9-second gap on Harry. Will those three come together again? Will a safety car come out? Riffic, you said that Carl would win this race. What are your guys' predictions for the final? Correct me if I'm wrong, but 14 laps of this race.
I, it's tough to say because anything can happen, as I've been saying. But I do think Passion Fruit will hold out. I think he'll win the race. And I think Jamie will take P2, and I think that Harry will stay P3. I think the top three will stay exactly as they are. And I don't see Kilo's AI making up too many oppositions. I mean, obviously he's 3/10 off of Zhou Guanyu, but I think he'll stay 11th or whatever that is if he gets the overtake done. Cal, I mean, he is quite far behind the rest of the pack. I can see him maybe getting up into the top 10 and maybe holding out there, but I think top three will stay as they are.
Oh, and it's a yellow sector 1, and that is Charlie. Hey, he has spun and lost his front wing, and this will now give him a safety car. Jamie retakes the race retakes the lead of the race. Can't speak there as per usual, but big talk right now. Charlie has lost his front wing and has made a mistake. So you guys saying that the front three will stay as what it is has just massively changed, because Charlie has made a big mistake, and it will cost him very dearly this race now, because you'll have to pit for a new front wing.
Talk about commentator's curse, am I right? I mean, I did say anything can happen, but flipping hell. Yeah, big mistake from Charlie, and he's going to have to box now. That's going to cost him a lot. And now, you do feel that Jamie's in a really strong position to hold out for the next 13 laps.
May I just say, I think this is now the time for for Jamie to pit, and he does miss the pit exit. I was going to suggest for him to pit and get onto the mediums, because that's what Charlie's going to do now. So this will cost. It probably might not cost. And I think Harry says that as well. Yeah. So Charlie will be towards maybe sat in the P10 position. See, this is what happens. I mean, if you don't stay in the race, if Cole had stayed in the race, look what he would have got right now. Look where he could have finished maybe now. You see,
Yeah,
you have to be in it to win it, like I said. Because if you're not in it to win it, you lose out very massively. So now Charlie will drop down to P5 and will be on the soft compound for the last 7. I'll have to do some quick maths here, boys. It'll be like round 7. It'll be around 12 laps rest of this race. So he has to nurse these tires as carefully, because he can't push on these very hard, because he has to make these last until the end of the race.
Can I
Yeah,
just
100%.
Can I just say? Oh, sorry, Ritvik.
Go ahead.
Just wanted to make the announcement, due to Carl leaving and Bailey becoming a reserve driver, we do now have 6 drivers. We have Harry, of course, Jamie, Charlie, Bradley, George, and David. Is that 6? Yes, that's 6. And 3 reserve drivers of Preston, Callum, and Bailey now. So quite the change around within the drivers and the reserve drivers. But who knows what will happen. Again, very unfortunate for Carl leaving. But 6 drivers, not too bad, really. Who knows? Season 4... we're going to aspire to be bigger and better. We may even bring in some new content creators. Who knows? We'll have to see what happens. But maybe even the lovely Peter and Ritvik will both be here on commentary once again for Season 4. You'll have to find out and watch. We do have a long way to go, though, till then. But anyway, we are in Hungary with a safety car. Jamie is leading that, and Ritvik was talking. I rudely interrupted. So back to Ritvik.
Yeah. It's interesting if you see about it, like the way everything's happened, and as Peter was saying before, as Peter and I were discussing before, you just need to hold out and have the faith and the belief that your ability is enough to get you to the position where you want. But now really comes the interesting part of the race, because when the safety car does go in, and it's green flagged once again, all of the cars are bunched up. If Jamie gets a jump on Harry, it could be really good for Jamie. But in the end, I genuinely do feel that potentially Jamie might have lost out here, because obviously he's taken to P1 track position because of Charlie's mistake. But if he gets jump started by Harry, then ultimately he would have gained nothing from it, and instead Passion Fruit and Harry would have swapped places. So I think Jamie's priority now is just to try and get the jump on Harry, basically.
May I just say, I mean, you say getting the jump on Harry. I mean, under safety car, the hards become very cold because you're not putting enough heat into those tires, and the hards require you to put heat in it to be able to maintain the grip that you want. And this is very true. He might have lost out, but I mean, just think about there's 4 cars between Charlie and then Jamie. Or no, sorry, there's 3. I can't count, but yeah, there's 3 cars separate between Charlie and Jamie. But obviously, one thing that Charlie has to take into account is that he has to nurse these tires very carefully. And as the lights have gone out, we're about to find out if Jamie's put enough temperature into these tires, and he does look to have got the jump on Harry, like you said that he should have.
But Charlie may be going for the overtake of Fernando Alonso, his own teammate, and he gets it up to P4. Nicely done, but Charlie goes a bit wide, but Fernando Alonso can't come back and attack. Charlie keeps that P4 position, now going after the Alpha Atari of Yuki Tsunoda. Will not let him get away with those hot, soft tyres. I haven't done this in a while, so I just wanted to do it one last time. But Charlie is gaining on the Alpha Atari now. What does Charlie have to do to catch up to Jamie? Can Harry catch up to Jamie? Or will Jamie keep this? Will there be a possibility of Cole maybe getting back up there? Or Callum maybe getting back up there? What's the abilities of every driver? I want to hear it all, boys.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that Charlie needs to nurse his tyres as he is up into P3. But if he keeps pushing like this, it's not going to help him because he has to make these last for 12 laps of this race. Obviously, it's not 12 laps now, but obviously, he needs to make it last until the end of the race, and that's still quite a bit away. So as long as he doesn't suck out the life in the first maybe 3-4 laps of after the safety car, I reckon he could be fine. But as Charlie looks to have gained on Harry as he goes down the straight down into turn 1, will Charlie have a look down the inside? He doesn't this time, but he will wait patiently to make his move on Harry as he's playing the patient game. Will he go down the inside of here? No, he's just sticking behind him. As we've seen that he is running down the higher downforce setup, and with the newer tyres, as Harry goes slightly wide after that exit, still keeping Charlie behind. So this might help Jamie get away from those two while those two are scrapping away. But, I still think that Charlie has to be careful how he uses his tyres until the end of this race, because if he uses them up too quickly, it gives Harry and Jamie the upper advantage on Charlie to catch him back up, because those softs will mean nothing towards the end of the race.
And it goes back to the beginning of the race when Jamie was out in the lead. We were saying about how the DRS situation between Harry and Passion Fruit might mean that them tussling and bustling could give Jamie a chance to jumpstart and keep going. And I do think that the same kind of situation might end up playing out here. I mean, look at how close Charlie is getting to Harry, and the grip levels of the soft tyres. I mean, look at him. He's so close. He should be, will be going for the move here. You would think. Or has he just lost out on straight line speed because of the DRS train that Jamie's providing? Yeah, that's what's happened. But he's ever so close. I mean, look at how close the nose of that car is.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to interrupt you there because I thought it looked like Charlie was going to try and make the move down the inside of Harry there for a second. But yeah, like you said, though, I mean,
Can
I still feel like if...
Go on, sorry.
I'd say if Charlie sticks behind Harry and he gets pushed wide by Charlie there, I was going to say if he keeps him sitting behind Harry, it is going to ruin his tyres and get overheated, because these cars can follow nicely. But the one thing you lose is you start getting
Oh
overheating
no!
the tyres.
Yellow flag in sector 2. Callum has spun and he's retired from the session. A very unlucky return for Callum to the DFL Championship. What do we think to a very unlucky race from Callum today? What do we think has gone wrong for him?
I mean, definitely, he was looking fine during qualifying, and then halfway through, not even halfway, like during midway through this race, he was sat in the top 4, and then obviously he had his first incident, and then he picked himself up and continued, and then obviously that happened. So yeah, but as Harry tried to make some move down the inside of Jamie, but Jamie holds his place and says not happening, and as Charlie tries coming through, it's going to be. Oh, they might go free abreast down into this corner as it's free abreast as Harry goes down the inside, and Jamie is spun, and not Jamie, Charlie has spun, has crashed his car, and now these two scrapping, and now Harry's been spun out by, I think that might have been by Jamie. I don't know what happened there. Mad chaos right there. A lot just went down in a couple seconds.
But now Jamie holds a 5-second gap on Yuki Tsunoda. Harry is down to P5 now. I can't even see which. Charlie's down in P9. This is a total, complete redo, rotation, whatever you would call it, of what was going down. I mean, with those two dropping down, does Jamie have this race in the bag?
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't make any mistakes, I reckon it's his to lose now, should I say. What do you think, Rick Fick?
I think accusations are being thrown. I think that incident needs to be looked at. 3 wide in Hungary is mental, and I think at one point all 4 wheels of Charlie's were off the track because of how much space that wasn't on offer, and both the cars contesting Jamie for a win are now out of contention for the win, and there's 6 laps left, and he will probably go on to win the race. But what an unbelievable turn of events, honestly. Callum DNFing, and then incidentally, like the same lap, the other 2 main contestants for the win being, sequentially knocked out of the running. Like, what do we think, boys?
Well, obviously, you say that accusations have been thrown, but when you're trying to go for the race lead, neither one of you 3 are going to back down for that race lead, because you see your opportunity and think, nah, nothing can happen here. And then, and then something does happen and you start throwing accusations. But Jamie was in the middle. There's nothing that Jamie could have done there to have prevented that. Obviously, Harry on his outside and then Charlie on his inside, all 3 of them trying to take the same corner where 3 abreast won't work, and that's bound to have caused an incident at that point. I mean, I think both of you can probably agree there that go 3 wide there was not the best opportunity for those guys. And I'd have to say that, one of those 2, either on the inside or the outside, I think that Charlie could have maybe backed out, because I think Harry was already close and making it 2 abreast into the corner. So I still feel like Jamie was just an innocent bystander and just got very unlucky by hitting him, because there's nothing he can do. He can't turn on his inside, and he can't go a little bit more right because Harry's on his outside. So either way, I have to say that Harry and Charlie are both probably at fault for trying to make a move into a corner where it wasn't not possible.
I'm not so sure. I'd have to see the footage again. I will agree for the fact that Charlie had all 4 wheels off the track. He was on the grass. I think at that point, anyway, he was going to go into spinning and being shunted. But the 3 wide is mental around a track like this, as you say. And it is obviously an opportunity for Jamie to get sandwiched by 2 front runners. But at the same time, I'm not so sure. The moment after Charlie got spun out, I'm not so sure what happened between the side-by-side racing with Harry and Jamie, because I didn't quite catch how Harry actually ended up being spun out. I just saw them side-by-side, and then the next moment it's a yellow flag.
Yeah, but Harry was on the outside, though. I mean, I was flicked on Jamie, so when this race finished, I will definitely have a look at the footage and see what was going on there. But Yeah, I have to say though, on that corner that James has just gone through now, you can't be making a move 3 wide there. It's generally not possible. I mean, if you was doing it into turn 1, I would have said, okay, that's a more realistic three abreast into one corner, because at least then when the car on the outside can go a bit more left. That means the person in the middle can go a little bit more left as well, and so does it. Gives the other car on the inside of the corner a little bit more leeway as well. So I still think that at least one of them could have backed down. Jamie's not going to back down because he was actually in the lead, and those two were trying to challenge for the lead. So ideally, I have to say that Jamie. I don't know what happened between the Harry and Jamie situation. I think I might have just caught a glimpse of that in the end, where Jamie might have tagged him, but it looked like Jamie was in the inside and Harry was on the outside. I'll have to get a look at that, and obviously have to get a look at Harry's footage as well to see what went on there. But yeah, obviously with the Charlie one, I still feel like you said, he had all 4 wheels on grass, so it was literally cutting the corner. Well, wasn't even cutting the corner. He looked like he was half on, half off. So, Dan, what do you think of this?
I just genuinely think it was a total chaotic mess, to be honest. I mean, the fact that they have even gone to do that, I get that Charlie and Harry have both gone for the overtake at the same time, but they should have gone for it at a different corner. I mean, that's the problem. Was it Charlie's fault because Harry was second, so does he have the overtaking rights first? But then Charlie's gone for the overtake on Harry, so how do you even place that? It's difficult to say, really. I mean, who knows? But just going on to something different, really. Harry is currently in P4, was P5, overtook Lando Norris. Now is a 0.4 second gap behind Fernando Alonso. Could be getting that overtake any minute now, to be fair. Do you think Harry could be getting back up, and is there enough time to get back up?
Yeah, I mean, he's literally right behind. Well, I wouldn't say he has enough time to get to Jamie, but he does have enough time to probably get to P2. And, this will be good for Charlie, actually, as he goes down the inside of Fernando Alonso, tried making the move. They make a little bit of contact. Fernando Alonso comes out in front of that one. But, yeah. Oh, looks like he made slight contact there for a second. Looked a bit sketchy there. As he goes around the outside, hasn't worked. Yeah, I still think that Harry has enough time to maybe get P2. So, yeah. What do you think, Vic?
I'm not so sure. Fernando Alonso's 9/10 behind Yuki Tsunoda, and so if he does make the move, I think DRS will make it tough because as long as Nando sticks to within a second of Yuki, then he can just train along, and there is only like a lap and a half left for Harry to make that move. I think earlier on when Fernando Alonso defended that attempt around the outside or inside from Harry was key. But unless he sort of dive bombs again or tries again in lap 34, I'm not so sure he can get into P2.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that is right. I mean, obviously Fernando Alonso having that DRS will be playing a key factor for Harry trying to make a little bit of a move. Try to make a move on Fernando to get this podium back. I was going to mention that obviously this is obviously good for Harry because he will be gaining on points on Charlie this race. Not so good for Charlie because he is leading the championship, but he has a big enough gap to afford to have one race like this and then be done with and not have any silly mistakes like this in future races.
Oh, Charlie's just got overtaken by Zhou Guanyu, but he's going back for it. He's now battling the Alfa Romeo AI, and he sent Zhou straight back behind Lewis Hamilton. Do you think Charlie can keep hold of his P9? Do you think he can get up anymore with that 10-second gap? Will he go down anymore?
Yeah, I reckon he might go down because his softs will not cut it anymore. His softs are not... Yeah, his softs won't cut it now. I reckon it will be more about trying to defend, more about trying to attack, because his tyres are not... Yeah, his tyres won't accept what he's trying to do.
And we are on the final lap now with Jamie, and of course, as we have ever so done with a 12-second gap, I think we can guarantee Jamie has a win. So we're actually going to stick on Jamie today, and we're going to talk a bit about his race. How was he held on to it? Basically the entire race.
Well, first of all, oh.
No, sorry, I'm just clearing my throat.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought it was about to spit there. I was about to say, obviously, Jamie had a nice start to the race, which was very key for him to make the move into turn one on Harry, and then just hold out. And then, obviously, he got overtaken by Charlie, and then, obviously, it was always about trying to stick with him. And then, obviously, Charlie was already making mistakes before he even got into the lead, like we saw. Me and Vic, and you, Dan, as well, all saw that he made that mistake when he was trying to overtake Harry when he lost his rear end. So Charlie was already making mistakes before he got into the lead, which was a big part into Jamie getting this
Vic, I hope you're
win
ready.
today.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. He's done so well. He's deserved this race. He deserves this race win. I don't know about the incident yet, but I can tell you for a fact now that he does come home to win the Hungarian Grand Prix, and what a win it has been. And again, it's just to solidify that moment where you can say that Jamie had the belief, he had the faith to stay in P2 and hang close, and it's paid off. And he's had a brilliant race. He fully deserves his 25 points, and I'm really happy for him.
And now Harry takes that P4 position. Charlie looks to be maybe getting the P10 position, but he's still under pressure by Carl here. Carl maybe stealing P10, and he does. Charlie comes home with no points this race, and that is the end of your Hungarian Grand Prix. Your driver of the day will be popping up any minute now. Give it 1 second, and it's going to be Carlos Sainz, which again don't agree with because it's an AI, but who cares? We move on to the podium, people. And here we are with the podium, people. Jamie, for the second time in our league's history, of course, taking his first win back in Season 1 in the Brazilian Grand Prix, takes his second win here in the Hungarian Grand Prix. What a brilliant, magnificent, legendary, I don't even know what else to call it, race by Jamie, now celebrating with the Red Bull team, I am sure, tonight. But will he be back with a second win of this season, third win of his career next time out? I can't remember what the race is going to be, but we'll see. We'll be right back with you with the leaderboard in a second, people.